If you followed me on Twitter when that was still up or kept a close eye on my community posts, you've probably seen me strongly defend the existence of the furry fandom on Roblox. I waxed poetic about how furry-directed hate runs rampant on Roblox and how furries on Roblox are unfairly persecuted more than any other sect of furries. After taking some time to reflect and talk things out with people close to me over the past few months, I've realized that that is true, and it's also kind of deserved. Why have I been reflecting so much? Why did I come to that conclusion? And why haven't I posted a video in several months? Well, if you follow literally any Roblox drama tuber, you probably already know, and if you don't, you should save yourself some time and disgust and probably not try and find out. Very basically, I made a series of incredibly stupid mistakes and wasn't as careful with online privacy as I should have been. I've made several apologies and clarifying statements about various things that were exposed about me over the past several months, and I think those statements can generally all be condensed into one sentence. I got lost in the sauce. Look, I've only been a furry for 1 year. I joined the fandom after basically having a midlife crisis due to the stress my computer science classes were putting on me. Prior to this, I was incredibly sheltered. I had no experience with sexuality or romance, I had a very small and tight-knit friend circle, and I spent most of my time doing work, either for school or this very YouTube channel. The furry fandom introduced me to what felt like a whole new world full of new friends, acceptance, and good vibes, and I was so excited to experience all it had to offer that I completely forgot about the responsibility I had as a Roblox YouTuber to keep my public online persona relatively family-friendly. I mean, I'd never had to worry about filtering my 18+ thoughts before since I never had any, so it took some adjustment time and some callouts to bring me back to reality and balance. And during this adjustment time, when I saw so many people in the Roblox space bashing my newfound interest, my first instinct was to be defensive of it. One of the first things you're told when you join the furry fandom, to an extent, is to ignore the haters. They're most likely 12-year-olds who think it's edgy and cool to hate not only furries, but also gay people, trans people, and just minorities in general. So seeing the massive amount of furry hate in the Roblox space, and also knowing that the Roblox community is made up largely of 12-year-olds, that's what I assumed I was dealing with. My goal in defending the Roblox furry community so much was to educate this massive group of people who I saw as ignorant, unfounded argument-spewing bigots in need of education. But, as I said earlier, I've been doing a lot of reflecting, and I now understand that things aren't always so black and white. Another of the first things you learn when you join the furry fandom is that it's not an inherently sexual thing.
To me, like, as long as you're two consenting adults, you do you, like,
Right.
Yeah.
not my cup of tea, that's not what I joined the fandom for, but like, it happens, but that is not at all the majority of the fandom, and because the majority of the fandom are kids too.
And right away, so I don't get taken out of context, I want to stress that that is true. The furry fandom isn't inherently anything except anthropomorphic animal related. It's largely what you make of it. Whether it's fursuit making, drawing, music making, or just representing yourself with a silly little animal character, there are so many ways to experience the furry fandom without bringing sex into the picture. But a lot of furries, I think, in an attempt to improve the fandom's image to the general public, really tend to downplay how much sexual furry content is out there and how popular it is. It's kind of a meme in the fandom that anything you do in the furry space will get way more attention if you make it NSFW. Look at how many popular furry YouTubers include sexual references in their thumbnails. Go to a dealer's den at a furry convention and try to make it all the way around it without spotting at least one sex-related item. It's easy to ignore, but adult furry content is very readily available in a plethora of places if you're interested. There's a very good video by a super underrated creator called Giorgio the Malamute that addresses this issue, called Quitting the Fandom and the Red Pill. Warning, it, like this video, is 18+. It's honestly one of my favorite furry videos on the internet. Giorgio is one of the only furry creators I've seen blatantly admit that the furry fandom is in fact overly sexual. But he has a very good solution to this. Don't watch things you don't want to see, and don't let your children watch things you don't want them seeing. As a parent, it's your responsibility to parent your kids, so maybe start doing that.
You people are too sexual, cries Megyn Kelly on SiriusXM radio. Well, sure we are. I'll be the first to admit it. And if you have a problem with that, don't fucking go to a furry convention. Don't look at my content. What if kids see you on the internet, says Asmongold? Isn't that the same as grooming? Aren't you introducing them to a fetish? Shouldn't you stay out of the public sphere? Well, gee whiz. After the runner-ups for the Republican presidential nomination spent so much time talking about the negative effects of social media and banning TikTok, I would think you would know not to give kids unsupervised access to social media since it's so harmful, wouldn't you? And sorry to throw you under the bus, Mom and Dad, but maybe it was a bad idea to give me the password to your work computers.
But there's a difference between my situation and what he's talking about. Giorgio is against people who bash furry creators for simply daring to exist online. Those people who see a video like this and cry, "Think of the children," when if a child is watching this, I'm equally as concerned about the parents as I am the child. However, the Nitro Lord channel is not just a general purpose channel, it's specifically dedicated to Roblox, a niche with a very youth-leaning audience, which makes that "think of the children" sentiment a lot more valid. It's hard to make the argument that kids in my audience should just look away when they make up a majority of said audience. As such, I no longer feel comfortable defending the existence of furries on Roblox. The mixing of a community with such an adult side and a community made up largely of minors is a recipe for disaster. The YouTuber Schlepp, whose channel is mostly dedicated to hunting predators on Roblox, once told me that a lot of the predators he ends up busting on Roblox are furries, and honestly, considering everything I've just said, I don't think it's hard to see why. This isn't me rolling over for and licking the boots of people like Ruben Sim and right-wing grifters, by the way. I'm still very much a furry. Like I said, things aren't always black and white. I know the concept of niche, complex, contextual opinions is hard for a lot of people online to grasp, but they do exist, trust me. There's a time and place for showing your furry pride, and in fact, it's a lot more times and places than you might think, but Roblox is one that I personally think you might want to tone it down at. Wear like a pair of cat ears or something. Don't do this. Before I end this part of the video, there is one thing that I haven't yet provided a public apology or explanation for. Again, if you follow drama channels, you probably know exactly what that is and have been waiting for me to talk about it. Here's my statement, you can pause and read it yourself if you want to. There are some things it's just generally a good idea to not put an audio recording of yourself saying on the internet. Now to address the future of this channel. To put it bluntly, I don't see much of a future for it. Even before I got called out, the views on the old Roblox documentaries were already dropping pretty substantially, and they were becoming less and less fun for me to research and make. I think to an extent I've finally grown out of Roblox. I still like playing games on there, they make for good, free, easily accessible, and casual ways to kill a few hours, but I don't think I'll ever be as invested in the community and the deep lore and goings on within it as I was when I first started this channel. But I'm still very passionate about YouTube and making videos, so I'll be continuing to do that under a new channel. Here it is on screen, and I'll also link it in the description. I was debating whether I should tell you guys about this channel or not, because I know a bunch of you will probably go over there trying to leave hate comments, but I realized that if I don't, someone will probably find it eventually and hate bomb it anyway, so not telling is pretty much just delaying the inevitable. Be warned that on this channel, I do plan on making light 18+ references and letting my furry side shine a lot more, so viewer discretion is advised. If I suddenly get a burst of passion for a Roblox related topic, then who knows, I might pop back into this channel to talk my stuff about it, but if you want to see a lot more of me and you're of age, this is the place to do it. And yeah, that's about all I have to say. See ya!